What's up, y'all? Hey, good afternoon. Hey, Mr. Pisces, how you doing, sir? How you doing? What's up, Ebs? Hey, Quintessential. Hey, Lock Queen. Little baby, you have the link if you want to come up. We're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills if you want to come talk about it. Um, Good afternoon, you guys. How's everybody doing? Oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not sleepy. I ain't done nothing all day. Maybe that's why I'm sleepy. You know, sometimes you sleep because you from not doing anything. Okay. I don't know if the notification went out. Let me share this and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, Lord. So they need to go ahead and rename the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They need to change the name to the Real Housewives of Erika Jayne or the Life and Times of Erika Jayne or the Defense of Erika Jayne or how many other different ways. Hey, O Street. Coming out of the beach. Oh, all right. I know that's right. I was at the beach. No, this time last week I was home, but I was at the beach about a week and a half ago, so I understand. Had me a good time, honey. Um, so this episode of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the majority of this episode I will say was dedicated to Erika Jayne. Let's get into a couple of the other things, and then we'll end with Erika Jayne, honey. Because, like I said, that's a lot to it. So, I don't know why I keep yawning. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we start this episode off. We are still at the argument that took place with Sutton and Crystal. And now listen, let me say this. I was in the middle of watching your Beverly Hills review when you notified. Okay, no problem. Well, I'm gonna say a lot of the same stuff, child, but thank you. Um, the reality of the situation is this. This is how I feel about this. First of all, I'm tired of talking about this. I'm so sick and tired of us talking about what had happened down to the Lake Tahoe. Okay. That's the first of all. Hey, little baby.
Hey, child.
So, first of all, I'm tired of talking about what happened down to the Lake Tahoe. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm sick of it. I don't care no more. But what I am going to say is this. Sutton be doing a lot. We know she's real extra and she be doing a lot. But Crystal, I see you.
I see Crystal too. I
I
see it from both sides. I
I
see it
see
from
you.
both sides.
Right. Because Crystal is real passive aggressive. And
Hmm.
my thing is this, and like Garcelle said, sometimes you just gotta give a little bit. You know, when the whole group is telling you, listen, we understand where you're coming from, but can you please use a different word? And you're like, no, because I used the word correctly. I'm not going to change what I said because I used the word correctly. That's like the word ignorant. The technical definition for ignorant just means that you don't know. But we've
Right.
turned it into a negative thing that when somebody calls you ignorant, you automatically get on defense because it's been turned into a negative term. I remember being a smartass when I was a kid and my daddy said something or whatever, and I said, that is so ignorant. And when I say my father about took my head off, I mean, he stopped himself, but he was on his way to taking my head off, okay? And my mother was like, okay, well, that's you can't say like that's disrespectful. And I was like, well, it just means she was like, yeah, that might be the definition of it. But you just can't go around calling people ignorant. You know what I mean? And I was being a smart ass. Like I knew I was being a smart ass. But that's what Crystal was being. Crystal understood what
Hmm.
they were trying to say to her.
And Crystal understands, like Sutton said, it's a social thing. Like to have that going around in their social circle that she violated Crystal. Like we're not gonna play this game. We
Yep.
know magnifications of the word violate.
Exactly. And it does. And then when you're talking about, well, I was naked on the floor and she violated me.
Exactly.
Like that takes it to a whole nother level. So
Exactly.
with Sutton extra, yes, Sutton is always extra. But do I understand where Sutton was coming from? Absolutely, I understand exactly where Sutton was coming from. You know, um, even with the whole her apology, I'm not apologizing for what I said, but I'm apologizing if it made you feel, girl. Girl.
Don't apologize.
Right. And when you say if it, clearly it did. This woman is sitting here in tears. Like, it clearly made her feel some kind of way. Then they were like, well, can you take the word manic back? Calling her manic. I'm not going to take that back. Even after
now that she should. Now that right there, I instantly picked up on her poking at her, because you just heard her talk about how her father had mental issues, committed suicide. Her mother is a psychotherapist, and she said she was a piece of work. So she probably heard manic thrown around on her God knows how many times throughout her life.
Right.
So I instantly picked up on Crystal being passive aggressive. We're not working with a dummy here.
Right. Right. She knew what she was doing. That's why I said, I see you. I see you for your works. Say hi to our favorite millennial. You know what? I ain't talked to Niecy. I want to say, I mean, I'm almost certain she wished me a happy birthday, but I ain't heard from her. I have not heard from her. You know, she is having herself listened. She living La Vida Loca, child. Hey, Yana. Okay, so then Kyle, Dorit, and Kathy got COVID. Now, I remember when that happened. I knew Kyle had got it. I heard Dorit got it, but I didn't know Kathy had gotten it.
I had heard Garcelle had also gotten it.
Oh, I didn't know Garcelle got it.
Yeah, I think that was I knew a slew of them got it because they did shut down production as a result.
Well, they ain't mentioned it on this episode. She might have caught it later.
Probably.
But yeah, so they have COVID, they're being quarantined, everybody's at home, and so they're doing that awkward, fuzzy filming from the Zoom, you know, situation. And while they're in quarantine, shit hits the fan about these lawsuits, and Erika and the attorney is accusing, well, one of the attorneys that is representing the victims from the airplane crash are accusing Erika of bankruptcy. Lord, not bankruptcy. Divorce of being fake.
Yeah, to hide money. But before we get further into that,
baby girl, I said both of them. Go ahead, though.
Before we get further into that, have we found out who Hunky Dory is?
Child, that damn. Listen, let me tell you something. I am so here for Kathy Hilton. Y'all just don't know. I am so here for Kathy Hilton. Listen, when Kathy pulled all that shit out her bag on last week's episode, I am so here for Kathy Hilton. Okay.
Like they sitting up here in the middle of a
fight. Serious though. She was like, "Who was Hunky Dory?"
Girl, did you see Garcelle? She wanted to bust out laughing so bad. And Kyle wanted to say something, but she didn't know what to say. But she knew she needed to say something, but she couldn't say something.
Kyle didn't know what to say. Kyle ain't had know what to say, child. Child. So here's the thing. And I kind of jumped ahead a little bit in my review because I didn't want to forget to say this. So I'm going to say it now, and I'll wait till the end because I know you're not going to let me forget it. Erika, you almost had me. Erika, you almost had me, girl, until the very end when you started setting up Tom's alibi for him.
That part.
Almost had me, Erika. Yeah. And let's be clear. Do I think Erika knew to the extent of what Tom was doing? I don't. I really don't.
I don't think so either.
I honestly believe that Erika enjoyed the lifestyle. Erika lived with whatever she felt. She ate what she had to eat to enjoy the lifestyle. They were probably living their separate lives. And as long as you don't do nothing publicly or embarrass me, I'm good, you good. And like she said, I believe Erika had every intention of riding that train till the wheels fell off. I believe she had every intention of hanging in there till that man died. Let's be clear. Erika didn't have a prenup. So if at any point, it would have been more advantageous for her to leave him 2 years ago than now. She had a prenup.
Like, so that's when
go ahead.
Yeah, when I say Erika knew, I don't mean Erika knew every detail. She knew every penny coming in and out of the firm. Because first and foremost, she doesn't work there. She's not an employee. She's not handling the client accounts. She's not a lawyer. So she doesn't know to that extent how Tom was getting the money, how the money was coming in and out. I'm not saying she knew in that sense. What I'm saying is I figure she has a sense of knowing that her husband got money through ill-gotten gains, because throughout their social circle, everybody's talking about it.
I'm going to say this. I believe
an open secret.
Yeah. My thing is this, when she got named in that lawsuit, that's probably when I would have called. That's probably when I would have made my first phone call to a lawyer, because I would need to understand, how can my name even be brought up in this? I don't work at the law firm. My name ain't on no paperwork. As far as I know, I ain't signed no documents. And I understand what she said, that she asked him about it, and he basically told her, shut up and be pretty. But that's when I would have started like, because it's one thing to be like, you suing my husband. It's something different for my name to be
my name tagged to some shit.
And as an attorney, I get it, but the type of law that he does, I probably would not have gotten alarmed at, he's being sued because somebody said he didn't do. I mean, lawyers get sued all the time because people feel like they didn't do their job. Just like doctors, their malpractice insurance is high for a reason. So that would not have alarmed me as much. But the minute my name was on it, I'd be like, whoa. So, girl, Sutton was shading the hell out of Rinna and Amelia. Sutton, girl, we're going to get to that quintessential. We're going to get to that. So, with the wall started tumbling, and the first thing was that this guy accused Erika of faking the divorce as a way to hide assets. Now, again, I don't know to what extent. I agree. I think in the beginning she was blind. I don't think that when she left she was as in the dark as she was in the beginning. I still don't, like you said, she didn't know all the where all the money was buried, but I certainly believe that she had a understanding that there was some shit coming down. Like, listen, I believe she knew some shit was coming. That's all I'm saying, like that. Okay. Yana said, I think she was blind in the beginning, but once he transferred that $20 million to her company, I think she shortly thereafter started paying attention, but I don't think she knew how bad it was. Yeah, I don't think she understood all that either. And I mean, she knew, because let's be clear, he's been financing her career for years.
That's the lawsuit from the lenders, the lending company. Right. They work primarily with attorneys, with law firms. And in the beginning of cases, a lot of lawyers will take out a loan for overhead fees to pay for attorneys,
especially if they work.
And so they're claiming he was taking out these loans and wasn't using them for the business, but were using the money to put into Erika's business, her career.
Right. Because she was Erika Jayne before she was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now she became a lot more popular after, obviously, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I mean, she became a lot more popular on the show. Erika Jayne became a lot more popular after she got on the show, but she was already doing pop music, and she was already, Erika Jayne. So we had that scene. So we had that scene. We also had Garcelle visiting Lisa Rinna. Not Lisa Rinna. Garcelle visiting Kyle. Mauricio took them kids and took his happy ass down to Arizona for 2 weeks. He said, you can sit here and be sick by all you want to. We gone. He probably got that negative COVID test and got the hell out of Dodge. She said that he left her. He left her so fast. I ain't mad at you, Mauricio, though. I ain't mad at you. Now, so we had Garcelle and Kyle basically are talking about Erika. What do we know? I can't believe. Do you believe? What do you think? What don't you think? Like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Then we had Erika, Crystal, and Lisa Rinna over to Erika's house. And the other thing that keeps irritating me is Erika and this whole, my house is so small, my house is so small, my house is so small. Girl, we get it. But let's be clear, you are still living in a house where the rent is $10,000 a month. A month.
You know what irritated me? Rinna going through that house. Oh my God! This is so beautiful! I can't believe this!
Girl, I was like, stop being so patronizing and go sit your ass down somewhere, child. Okay. But the one thing I do take away from this scene that I'm 100% and with Erika on, Erika was trying to give. Oh, I got some feedback. Okay, that's better. Erika was trying to give Crystal some good stuff and some heads up. Now, Crystal, you can either take heed to it or you can ignore it. but she was trying to give you some good stuff, girl. She told you better know where all the money is coming from where the source is coming, and where it's going. I said, because she wasn't talking to Lisa. She was talking to Crystal. Did I lose you, little baby? Oh, okay. Little baby?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, because let's be clear, Lisa makes her own money. She said her and Harry got joint accounts. He has his own separate personal little checking. I got my own little separate little checking, but all of the bills get paid and I pay the bills. So I know where the money coming from. I know where all the bodies are buried. So that conversation won't for Lisa. That conversation was for Crystal. She was like, you like me, girl. You don't, you the housewife and you the pretty little thing on the side. You better pay attention to what's going on in your household with the finances. Now, I don't know. And even with that, Crystal tried to throw some shade at Erika talking about I don't know where the money is, but if I asked, I'm sure he would tell me. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sure he would tell you?
Because that's something he would have offered up to you in the beginning from the jump. If you ask me, if you're talking about being in a partnership with someone, I would figure you need to know the ins and outs of what's going on.
Child. So, and of course, once again, Erika's talking about the lawsuit and how stressed out she is and how the lawyer is this and people don't believe her and that her divorce is very real. It's very real. And Tom is so mean and he was so cold to me, but I didn't say anything because nobody would believe me. And I just was the good wife. And when I would ask questions, he wouldn't answer me. And I just went on about my business. And I'm just like, again, do I believe that that's what happened? I do. Because I don't think that Tom was the nice guy that she played him out to be. But again, I don't know. Like, you're turning him into this horrible villain now. And it's just like, girl, we get it.
It's very hard to believe one side when you've always spoke of him in this different side for so many years. We see it all the time where people were one way in public. Mm-hmm. And behind closed doors, they're a freaking monster. But at the same time, it's like I guess that's where the Ice Queen thing came from, because the poker face of it all.
Right. Well, girl, I said in this, but this is what I said. I said in my review, we got more emotion out of Erika in this one episode than we have gotten in all of her years on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I didn't even know her face could move.
She didn't get her Botox treatment, girl, because she poor now. I don't know. I just feel like, because I agree. I feel like you've given us, hey, everybody coming in. I feel like you have done so much to give us the worst case scenario the best case scenario of Tom over these last 6 or 7 years you've been on this show. I'm going to tell you what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for somebody to break rank. Somebody on that Bravo staff, whether it's somebody that was on the show, somebody behind the scenes, I'm waiting for somebody to break rank. And give us the real deal.
Even more.
Huh?
I said spice the story up even more. Break rank.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably not going to happen right now. But I give it maybe a year and a half. Somebody going to say something.
Well, somebody
get fired from the show and they're going to have a lot to say, or somebody going to say something, because right now they are all in line. They're all in line. You saw how all of them wished her a happy birthday, and none of them would say anything bad about Erika.
Fake.
You see who all of them was with. Now, it was Erika's birthday. It was Erika's birthday and it was Teddy's birthday. You see all of them was with Teddy for her birthday. Did you see that on social media?
I did not. Well, so, you know what? Yes, I did.
Yeah, it was Teddy Mellencamp's 40th birthday. And so Lisa Rinna, Harry Hamlin, Kyle and Mauricio, they were all with Teddy and her husband and, some of their other friends. That's who they were with. Now they was wishing Erika a happy birthday, but they was with Teddy.
And that's why when the whole news, when they got the news of the divorce and they're sitting up here like, I thought we were closer than that. Why didn't she tell us? Y'all were never that close. All of y'all are fake. Y'all are very, very surface.
Listen, like I said, about the Real Housewives of what show was it? What show was it, y'all? No, Married to Medicine. When Dr. Contessa telling everybody all her business, I'm like, those are your coworkers. All them women on that stage are not your friends. And all of them should not know all of your business. Like, I'm okay with the fact that we know that some of these women are friends in real life and some of these women film together. Like, I'm okay with that. But like you said, it shows itself at times like this. Because when Kyle told me something, I'm surprised she didn't tell me. I'm like, she did. She gave you as much of a heads up as she could have probably afford to give you, because she couldn't afford to tell none of y'all earlier than what she told y'all, because then it'd have been in all the blogs, because somebody would have told somebody.
Rinna.
Well,
and we know how Rinna is with a bone.
Well, we said they said like, Rinna be telling it. They said Rinna be telling it.
She can't trust any of those women because we see how they act. Look at what Kyle and Dorit have been doing with Sutton and Crystal. They got that bone and they've been stirring the pot with it ever since they got it.
Child. Dolce said Mauricio took his COVID side chick with him, honey. I said, ooh. Maybe that's who he was down there with, honey.
I can see it.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised to find out about Mauricio. So that was kind of what that scene was. And again, I feel like all of this stuff is damage control. All of this is to preserve Erika's image as much as possible, to document as much as possible of what she did not know, what she hadn't heard about, why, like all of that. All of that is, I just feel like, even down to how much she's downgraded and she didn't take anything out the house. If you think that I believe that Erika Jayne didn't take shit out that house other than what she put, please. Erika got a whole storage unit in her assistant's cousin's uncle's name full of shit.
She holding on to all of it, and she's claiming all of that stuff as gifts.
And the jewelry.
Yeah.
All that jewelry.
She's claiming everything as gifts.
So Lisa Rinna, this is okay. I'm going through this real quick because this ain't gonna take long at all. Lisa Rinna talking to her daughter about her vintage dress collection. Yay, you, Lisa. Yay, Lisa. I don't even know how that made, like, how did that even make the cut? Like, how, how they have so many deleted scenes? That's a scene that if I had seen it as a deleted scene, I'd have been like, oh, okay, I understand. How did that even make it into the episode?
I had rather seen more of Kathy and her dog howling.
Listen, girl, Kathy out there howling with that thing. Oh. Kathy out there with that damn dog howling. And the funny thing was the dog was howling back. That is clearly something that they do on a regular basis. First of all, think about that monstrosity of a house that Kathy Hilton lives in. Girl, like nobody on that show can stand 10 toes with Kathy Hilton. Let's be clear. None of them.
First off, she's talking about, here, you can come borrow my tennis court. Just be quiet.
Right. Like, come on and play your tennis, honey. And, I don't even have to know you here.
Yeah. Oh, I just got up 45 minutes ago. Saying that at 10:50 a.m.
Right. She out there making her, right. She out there making her reefs, honey. Now, I'm going to say this. I 100%, I'm sorry, I just got a message. I 100% understand where Kyle is coming from. Now, I know Kyle be doing a lot, and I know Kyle be extra, but oh Lord. I understand where Kyle is coming from. I don't think people really understand the toll that COVID has taken on children. And it is hard for a parent to see their child lose so much and not have the enthusiasm and not be able to do anything about it. I mean, the biggest thing she was saying is Portia has lost something and she's okay with it. Like, she's okay with the fact that she sleeps at noon. She's okay with the fact that she sleeps late and goes to bed early. And like, she doesn't have any enthusiasm for anything. She has no excitement and no enthusiasm. And she was like, that is a scary thing to see in her child. And I can 100% understand that, and I can see where Kyle is coming from, because like she said, now I feel guilty because I didn't keep her in dance, or I didn't make her take up an instrument, because at least I could pay somebody to come in and give her private lessons or private, and she would have a passion for something, but she doesn't have anything. And so I felt her in that moment, and I felt like Kathy was a good sister in that moment. She was serious. She didn't try to make any silly jokes or anything. And she told her, she said, listen, you're a good mom. You're a good mom. And it's going to be what it's going to be. You're doing the best you can. This is new for all of us. This is a crazy thing for all of us. But you are a good mom, So I know that Kyle can be real extra and all that, but I felt in that moment, I really was there for her in that. I really was there for her in that moment. So how you feel about that moment, or did you not care?
I was thinking about myself, someone who used to be a child, and thinking,
really?
I probably would have enjoyed this time, because I hated school and I hated the kids, and it would have been lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, it has affected everyone differently. Yes, I thought it was drummed up, but I'm not a mom yet. So one mom in the comment section tried to read me. I think Portia looked happy. So the thing is this, Portia may have been happy. like little baby just said, I ain't like kids, I ain't like school. I would have been happy. But from a parent's perspective, I think what's scaring her is I'm nervous at how comfortable she is being antisocial. And I feel like that's kind of where that was coming from, is I am nervous at how comfortable she is at not liking people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I have one of my coworkers who that happened to her child. I was telling somebody the other day about this. Because as teachers, we vent, we fuss, we talk. And we were talking one day, we were in a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and we were just talking about the kids. We had a lot of kids that failed. And we were just talking about, well, we did everything we could. We tried, we this, we that. I mean, the kids had to take some responsibility. We were having one of those conversations. And one of my coworkers, who she kind of irritates me a lot. But she was like, as she said, as a parent, as a teacher, she sees it from that perspective. She said, but as a parent, she sees it from the other perspective, because she said she has her oldest son was a high school senior. Well, he was a junior when COVID started. He was a senior this whole school year. He was a student athlete. He had Division I colleges looking at him. He was an honor roll student. She said, and she literally watched her son throw all of it away, and it was nothing she could do about it. She said, I could not make him do anything. She said, I did it. You give me the checklist, I did all of it. His coaches tried to talk to him. I talked to him. His dad talked to him. I would wake him up in the morning and make sure he logged in. I would check behind him about turning his work in. I was emailing his teachers. Like, we did everything. And I watched him barely graduate. Forget about the schools that were, no, I take that back. He was a junior. He's not a senior. But she was like, forget, like, now he's going to have to spend his whole senior year trying to get it back, because she said he just became so depressed and so withdrawn, and I did everything I knew to do. And so as a parent, I understand how that can happen. And so she said, and I was helpless. I did all I knew to do, like, short of doing the work for him. Like, I did all I knew to do. I'm still working full time, and I got to worry about my classes and teaching my kids and, doing my job. But I'm making sure he's up in the morning. I'm making sure he's logged into his classes. But now I got to go log into my classes. So can I control whether he participates in class? Can I control whether he logs out and goes back to sleep? Like, I could even make him sit in front of me, but I can't control whether he's paying attention. Like, it's like I can only do but so much. So I feel like that's kind of the moment that Kyle was having. I feel like, now, again, Kyle is Kyle. But I kind of feel like that was the moment Kyle was having. I also feel like it was a filler scene, just like Lisa Rinna talking to her kids was a filler scene. But I feel like there was more substance in that filler scene than Lisa's damn filler scene, child.
And to the point of that, child, I would have been completely opposite because I wasn't about to repeat nothing because I couldn't stand them folks. And I was able to get the hell up out of there. And
right. And that's what she was saying. She was like, it was not right. And that's what she was saying. She was like, there was nothing we could say to him. Like, he did not care. Like, everything we said, well, you know, you're going to have to repeat the grade. Well, you know, this is going to happen. Well, you know, he was like, all right. Like,
I mean, I was ready to go.
And it wasn't like he was saying, okay. Like, he was saying, no, I don't want to repeat the grade. No, I don't. Yes, I want to still play basketball. Yes, but it was that. But now it's, I can't. Like, anyway, she just couldn't get him motivated. I went way left with that. I'm sorry.
But again, people are different. Some people had an extroverted personality. I know that there are people who thrive on social settings, but I'm one of those people. I'm completely opposite. I don't need all of that stimulation. Actually, all of that stimulation can exhaust me.
I love avoiding my family, and Catherine is sleeping until 9. I know. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I mean, I was kind of okay with the lockdown, but see, I had an outlet. I mean, I had YouTube. Like, I could always go live and interact with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I had people living in my house with me. I wasn't living alone. You know, so anyway, I think children take their cues from their parents, modeling themselves like the parents, or to be the total opposite of their parents. That's interesting, to be the total opposite. Now, that's an interesting thought too. Yeah. So the next scene was my favorite scene of this episode, was when Sutton shaded the hell out of Lisa Rinna. So Lisa Rinna went over to Sutton's house, and we met Sutton's oldest daughter, who's a freshman in college. She's a double major. She's a very smart young lady. And we found out that Sutton was a very involved parent, a very hands-on, and a very much, these are rules, you're going to follow them. We're not going to be Hollywood just because we got a little bit of money and you got friends that probably do some crazy shit. You ain't going to do it in my house. We're going to go to church. You're going to have a curfew. But why was the first thing out her mouth was, I mean, my children aren't allowed to have lip fillers. I said, now that's the shadiest shit.
And she
my children aren't allowed to have lip fillers.
And
talking to Lisa Rinna.
Rinna's so thirsty to have those girls be like the Hadid sisters. She's so happy to run around and say that her child is connected to a Kardashian in any way, shape, fashion, or form. Every 5 minutes, Scott Disick, should I call him Lord when I meet him? Like, girl, will you get some business of your own?
Child, she was so pressed to let everybody know that rumor was true, honey. Because remember when they, oh, Lord, I done kicked off little baby. My bad, little baby. I hit the button by accident. Because remember when they were filming this, ain't nobody know why that rumor was true or false. But she was so pressed.
And guess what? We still don't give a damn.
I really don't. I don't care about I don't care about nothing with a K in it. Okay. I don't care about Kardashian. I don't care about Sky. I don't care about no Jenners. I don't care about none of them.
We don't care.
But when that was the first thing out of Sutton's mouth, honey, I fell out. And then she went on to talk about how, you know, her kids, and I was here for it. She was like, listen, my kids had a curfew. My kids had rules. You know, we went to church. She said, and I still expect them home on Saturday night to play Uno with me. Okay. I was here for it. I was so here for it. And let me tell you something. It was refreshing to hear. It was refreshing to hear this woman who, you know, not grew up, but who has raised her children in money and in affluence, has an expectation of normalcy when it comes to mother-child relationships. I was so here for it. I was here for it.
It was refreshing, and the child looked well-mannered.
She did. I mean, even down to the whole, the girl pledged a sorority, and Lisa had to say, oh yeah, I pledged that sorority too. And the girl was like, well, yeah, it's the smart sorority now. And she was like, not when I was there. It's a party. Girl, go sit down. Just listen, you were in college for a whole semester. That don't even count as being in a sorority. Just go sit down somewhere.
She was probably at the parties.
That was it. That was all. Like you heard her say, I missed a lot of keggers. I'm a homebody, but it was hard to make plans for a lot of people that don't know how to bob and weave through life. Oh, okay, bob and weave through life, child. Right, you hear Lamar Odom, Lady Will, taking about he was the first Black Kardashian. He was the first Black Kardashian. No, he wasn't the first Black Kardashian. Well, I guess he was the first one to marry her because Kim and Reggie Bush, but they never got married. So I guess as far as marrying into the family, child. But all of them, shut up. I ain't even gonna say that. I'm just saying. I'm gonna let that go. Just let that go. But anyway, that was my favorite scene. And then Lisa talking about something. Oh, we should have a play date for our kids. Sutton, first of all, let's not call it a play date because they grown. But second of all, here goes Sutton. Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Girl, when Sutton said that shit in her confessional, she said that probably didn't happen.
I do not blame you. You don't want to see your daughter spread eagle with some 38-year-old man. I do not blame you.
Okay. I mean, Lisa Rinna, listen. Lord. Anyway. Do you, honey. Do you. So that was that. And then we had the final scene of the episode. He was saying that as a read to Carly Red. Oh, is that okay? Child, listen. Anyway, Lamar Odom, Carly Red, all of them, just all of them. So the last scene was this final scene with Erika meeting up with Kyle at the park. They were going to go for a walk. When we got the whole now, listen, little baby, you my makeup guru. Didn't they start making waterproof mascara in the 80s?
It was pretty early on because waterproof mascara has been around for a while.
So how hard do you have to cry for that much mascara to run down your face?
I would not know, child.
I'm being messy. But seriously, I was really sitting here like, Erika, girl. And let me say this. Do I believe her tears are real? I believe Erika's going through it. I cannot imagine. Her whole world has been shattered. I believe she's really going through it. Let's be clear. But I also feel like you were making a scene and you wanted us to know that you were going through it. Because all these years, you've been so stoic. You've been so ice queen. You've been so I can handle it. Even when other people are going through stuff, you giving them the side eye like, girl, man up, buckle up. Put some backbone in it. Stop being so weak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, though, and again, I believe the tears are real. I believe the tears are real, but I also believe you put on that non-waterproof mascara too. I'm just saying. I feel like maybe she had just gotten off the phone with her lawyer or something because the way she walked up on that scene like she was over it. Like, it was like, girl, let me go ahead and film this shit so I can go home and get back in bed and cry. Like, you saw it when she walked up. Like, and I feel like it was just like, I feel like maybe she had just gotten off the phone with her lawyer and had just gotten some news about, but then in that conversation is when you started capping for Tom having this Alzheimer's. Oh, I tried to make you go and, because you were sick and you couldn't see and you were forgetting things. And I was like, that's when I was like, you lost me. She had me until you lost me.
Yeah, I didn't like that alibi. Now here's the thing. He is in his 80s. Yes, some functions have started to debilitate, but at the same time, I don't think he was completely out of his mind. I think that man got a lot of sense.
It's real convenient that now all of a sudden that he's looking at going to jail, all this stuff coming out about him.
He's losing his home, his whole life's work, his career, his reputation. Damn the work. I won't even call it work. His whole life's thievery, because this has been going on for over 40 years.
And that's probably why he was still working, because he couldn't afford to retire. Because if he had retired then he would have had to turn all that stuff over to somebody at his law firm, and people would have saw what was going on. I mean, if you watch the Hustler and the Housewife show, they talked about the turnover rate was so high at his law firm. And I'm sure some of it was because people saw some stuff they didn't want to see, or they weren't supposed to see.
That, but also possibly people weren't getting paid. That's my other suspicion.
I think it was a combination of that. I think if you went back and interviewed all those people, which I'm sure somebody is going to try to do, I'm sure that they had a variety of reasons, but the lawyers that left probably left either A, because I do believe Tom could be hard to work with sometimes, and B, they probably saw some stuff that they was like, yeah, nah, I'm not losing my law license behind this, bro. No, man.
There have been some lawyers brought into those lawsuits because they were over the client accounts, and they were the ones who were signing checks and withdrawing and depositing money. So yeah, some of them knew, and some of them had already left because they knew the bridge was tumbling down. But I think others were like maybe too low on the totem pole, and they were just like, we ain't getting paid on time, because he was even having issues with his own gardener not getting paid.
Well, we saw, like I said, it wasn't, I don't know if it was the beginning of last season or the season before that, when Erika was showing stuff around the house that needed to be fixed, and it was like cracks in the pool, and it was like major stuff that I was like, because I remember thinking then, like, they just letting the house fall apart like that. Do you remember that? And she was showing Tom because she was trying to get approval for the money to get the stuff fixed. And it was like major like stuff around the house. It wasn't like, oh, you know, the gardener isn't doing a good job cutting the grass. It was like some major stuff. But like I said, when I saw that, I felt like Erika was buying into it again. I'm trying to be empathetic, but I'm also feeling like Erika, girl, I don't know, because I'm sitting here like,
she's innocent to a certain extent. Again, because she wasn't working at the firm, she didn't have any control over accounts. Her name wasn't on any official documentation. Like, the only reason why she's even getting pulled in is because she is his spouse, and the money that he used to afford their lifestyle was from those client funds. And they are community property. They didn't have a prenup. That's the only reason she's getting drug into this. Had she filed sooner, may have not gotten drug into it.
Am I going to cover Trump's class action lawsuit? Child, probably not. I'm not gonna say I won't talk about it, but I don't know if when you say cover, I'm not committing to covering it.
I should get in on it for pain and suffering.
Child, okay, shit, class action. Let me sue his ass. Hey, Mother Cats, how you doing? Yeah, y'all remember me talking about that, because I remember thinking that's some, like, when you got that kind of money and you had that kind of house, you ain't supposed to see them kind of things. You know, major cracks in the foundation of the pool. And I get it that they probably don't use the pool. Like, Erika probably don't swim in that damn pool, and I'm sure Tom don't get in that damn pool. So she's the secretary on the paperwork, but that's. So I was looking at, okay, so let me get into this. I was looking at Emily D. Baker today on Up and Adams. So you guys can go check that out, because they were talking about that today. And what Emily was saying, she's an attorney, and what she was saying is that that's not uncommon. That when you see when people have those companies and stuff like that, that they're listed, you know, their names are listed as secretary and a lot of those auxiliary type positions, it still doesn't mean she knew anything. And it still doesn't mean that she can necessarily be held accountable. But yeah, her name is listed as secretary, but it's secretary on her businesses. She's not the secretary of his law firm. She's a secretary on his business, on her businesses. And that's not uncommon. That's what Emily was saying, that's not uncommon. So that's not necessarily something that would be a red flag per se. I mean, with all her other issues, that ain't, knowing somebody, and again, she brought up a good point. Knowing that somebody, hey Tabitha, knowing somebody did something criminally and being able to prove it are two totally different things. Knowing that, okay, we think Erika knew that Tom was getting that money from places he wasn't supposed to be getting it, and he was dumping it into her company to hide it, and being able to prove it I don't know if they'll ever be able to prove it unless they have a smoking gun. They'll never be able to prove it. Now, if her signature is on paperwork, like what happened with Teresa over to the Real Housewives of New
That's
Jersey,
what they're looking for.
right? And she could sit in court all day long and say, "I didn't know, I didn't know." They're gonna say, "But you signed it." But if Erika never signed nothing, and we don't know because we haven't gone through all of that. No, the law firm, but the business that, right. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. I agree. Her name is listed as a secretary, but what I'm saying is that Emily Baker was saying just because she's on there as a secretary, it does not mean it does not mean that she, again, that's enough to hold her liable, because a lot of times people's names are on when you incorporate a business or you do articles in corporation. You have to put. Listen, I've been through that. I was on a 401c3 situation, and my name was on the articles of incorporation of a couple of. And I had to go back and get stuff taken off when I was no longer active with that particular organization. But it didn't. Secretary is not the same as what we think of secretary, like taking notes and keeping it. It's not the same. It's not the same. Because when you turn that paperwork in, you have to have names in certain positions. That's part of the paperwork. Oh, congratulations, Tracy. Oh, wow, for over 20 years. Oh, wow. Well, definitely congrats to you on that. Definitely.
Congrats, Trace.
Yes.
Tracy, Lord.
Yes. So,
yes,
that's the other thing I was going to say. Because Emily Baker, again, you guys could catch it over there Up at Adam this morning. They did a live because I believe this happened yesterday, that Erika has officially been sued within the bankruptcy case. And so what that means is the bankruptcy case that was filed against Tom Girardi, the lawyers are now suing Erika within the bankruptcy case, which I didn't know you could do this. But she was like, yes, you can sue within the bankruptcy case. And what it is they're saying, we believe that the money that he was funneling through her company we want it to be counted as assets.
Mm-hmm. That's where they're sticking it to Erika, not in the lawsuits with the clients. It's the bankruptcy. Right. That's what, because they're community property. I don't believe she signed off on paperwork, because again, the paperwork that they're going for is monies attached to the law firm. She did not work at the law firm.
And I'm going to say this, she may have signed off on some paperwork. So here's the reality. If she signed off on the paperwork, we'll find out. Only reason why I'm hesitant about that is because I feel like we would already have heard that. I feel like
we haven't gotten a lot of documentation on that.
Her name is on paperwork.
And the only thing I've seen is the signature, and they've been going back and forth on whether that was her real signature, because some people say there are two types of signatures people may use. And one is just silly, arbitrary. And then there's one that you use for real documentations. And that's the only document that they found. They haven't found anything that truly says Erika went into client accounts and took money.
Right.
They have not gotten any official documentation stating any of that.
From what I understand, and again, I have not read every single paper, but from my understanding, the most that they've been able to prove is that money was taken from the law firm and put into her business, Pretty Mess and Erika Jayne Incorporated or something, EJ Industries Worldwide Global, whatever the name of it is. But right.
They're coming for her in bankruptcy court. That is the only way they can get her right now. Right. Because they're still married, so it's community property.
Right. Because they're saying that he used her company to hide the assets. And because the company is in her name, but again, that's why they're suing her in bankruptcy court. And as a result, if they're able to win, then Erika will be on the hook to pay that money back. Now, the reality is her company worth $20 million right now? Probably not. One, because her ass ain't even been working in a year. Like, so even, like, let's be clear. had COVID never hit, would her company be worth 20 million? Maybe. She was on Chicago. She was doing Chicago. She could be touring as Erika Jayne right now. She could be generating money. But is her company worth $20 million today? I don't know. Exactly. Deny. Crystal better pay. Listen, she tried to get Crystal some good stuff now. She tried to get
recent. She's been dropped from deals, makeup deals. She had a deal with Shoe Dazzle. They dropped her. So
Fenty dropped her.
So all of her passive income, she doesn't even. She's starting to lose that.
I'm gonna tell you this one, and they said that unfortunately, the problem that they're saying is that if this goes all the way down the rabbit hole, and Erika is found that she's on the hook for that $20 million, and she has to pay it back. The problem is Tom is going to basically get off the hook because now he's under a conservatorship. And what Emily was saying is people are very hesitant to sue someone who is under a conservatorship especially if they say he has Alzheimer's and all this other stuff. It just ain't a good look. I mean, they're going to liquidate everything. They're liquidating his law firm. They're liquidating all of his assets, his house, all of that. But they said what's going to end up happening is Erika is going to really end up paying more than Tom is going to end up paying in the long run because they're going to hold her accountable to that $20 million, whereas Tom might get off the hook, financially is what I'm saying. Because once they've liquidated everything under the bankruptcy, they're probably not going to, because he can't work anymore. What he going to do? He's been disbarred. He's 80 years old. What the hell he going to do? Work at Walmart? Like, what is he going to do? Be a greater? So,
not a greeter.
Girl, what's he going to do down to the Walmart at 80? I mean, he's been disbarred. You know what I'm saying? And so, if they're saying that he has Alzheimer's, so again, you kind of shooting yourself in the foot because even if there were things like they could have him as a consultant or whatever, like you can't really say we're gonna have him on as a consultant, but he got Alzheimer's. Like you can't win both sides of that argument. But what they were saying is that at this point, if worst case scenario for Erika within the bankruptcy, not all her other stuff, but within the bankruptcy, worst case scenario for Erika is that she's on the hook for that. And now it's up to $25 million. So she's on the hook for that $25 million, right? Basically, they can attach to her future earnings until she pays off that $25 million. Yeah. And basically the judge can decide that they basically give her a budget, a quote unquote reasonable budget for her to live off on monthly, where she can pay her bills reasonable, pay her bills monthly, and all the rest of her money go towards paying off this $20 million. And as a result, they were like, pretty much all her future earnings until she pays off that is going to be attached. So Erika now let's be clear, Erika can potentially make a lot of money. Once she can make money. Because right now she's being dropped by everybody because that shit looks good. But y'all know, like I know, they drop you publicly, they call you back privately. So Erika's gonna make money. Will people be booking her right now? No, she gotta wait for the smoke to clear a little bit. But I promise you, somebody gonna come to her with a book deal.
Something's coming. Because for one thing, she has agreed to testify against Tom. Now, what capacity?
Right, she's cooperating now, right? So she may be, and the thing is this: if she liquidates her business, and maybe her business is worth, I'm just throwing some numbers out, y'all. Let's say her business is worth, let's say $12 million, right? Let's say Erika is able to come up with $12 million. She may be able to work out a deal. And they say, okay, this is all we can get from Erika. She owes 25, but we're going to take the 12 million and we're going to keep it at that. That's for her lawyers to hammer out, right? But she could get a book that you said book. Absolutely. Do you not think that if Erika decides to write a quote unquote tell all, y'all don't think that somebody won't be banging down her door to give her a $5 million advance?
I think Erika has a lot to say.
Absolutely. And once she's free to say it, I think she will talk. I think I see a 2020 interview. She's going to go right back to ABC. I see a 2020 interview. I see a book deal. I see a book tour. Hell, it might even be a Dear John mini series. Y'all don't see that.
I can see it.
I absolutely can see it.
She can pay a lot off.
Means all debt will be put on her as the only earning income of the marriage. Child, see? But that's what they were saying. That's what Emily was saying today, that the sad part about all of this is that Erika may very well end up coming out on worse than this than Tom. That's the sad part. But I guess it is expensive to be me.
Like I said, I had heard these rumors like years ago.
We've been hearing these rumors about Tom, and that's why I don't believe that
she was completely in the dark.
I don't believe she was completely in the dark. And two, I don't believe that the divorce was
out of nowhere,
coincidental. And I do believe that Tom and his attorneys sat down with Erika, and I do believe that there's a conversation. I believe there was a conversation. Yeah. I don't believe that Erika left in the dead of night, packed up nothing, to hear her tell it. She packed up barely anything, and Tom never called her again, and she never called him. I don't believe it. Now, for the purposes of, we know that they can trace cell phones and stuff like that. Yeah. Do I think that they're going to be able to find cell phone records of Erika talking to Tom after she moved out the house? Probably not. But do I believe that Erika left and didn't say nothing and there was no conversation? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't believe it. Yeah, baby girl, I'm with you. That's what I said earlier. I said the same thing earlier. My name not gonna be in nobody's lawsuit, and you ain't got a and you don't have an explanation for me. No, ma'am. That's not. We're not playing that game. No, ma'am. She took a couch. She took one of the damn couch. They showed us them damn purses on the floor. Like I said, if you don't think that I'd believe that that assistant, that guy assistant that's been with her forever, what was he call her? I mean, fancy word for wardrobe coordinator, basically. I don't remember all of it, but basically it was a fancy word for wardrobe coordinator. But if you think that I believe that man don't have a storage unit in his sister, cousin, uncle name that got all the Erika shit in it, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. Erika said that she hired a moving van and it took her all day while Tom was at work. First of all, you think, I understand that Tom might not have had a full staff at that point, but somebody was in that house. You don't think they called Tom to say, your wife is moving all her shit out the house and your shit too?
Yeah, he knew that was coming.
You don't think one of the neighbors didn't call and say, so what's going on down here? Somebody said something.
Yeah, she had been packing up for a moment.
You got a house full of staff. Nobody called Tom. Nobody.
He was probably like, listen, go ahead and leave. All right, I figured you were going to leave sooner or later. I'm surprised it took this long.
Yeah, that's true too, baby girl. Yeah, that's true. She married him for money. She stayed for money and left. She stayed for money and left for money, so I don't feel sorry for her. Listen, I'm with you on that one, Mother of Cats. I said the same thing. In my review, I said the same thing. I said, oh, well. Listen, because here's what I believe. You stayed, listen, I do believe that Tom, that the love and the passion has probably been gone for a while. And I believe that maybe Tom wasn't treating you the nicest. He probably was saying some slick shit out of his mouth. I believe that. I'll give you that. But I also believe that you bit the bullet, and y'all probably had an unwritten agreement or maybe even a written agreement that said, listen, just don't bring nothing here. Don't embarrass me. You do you and I'm going to do me, and I see you on the other side. I don't believe that you suffered in silence for nothing. Now, I believe that Tom, that you and Tom probably ain't been in love and been passionate for a long time, because I mean, you didn't even see none of that on camera, and I said that in my reviews, that you don't see anything on camera between the two of them, nothing. But listen,
I deal with persons who aren't always involved in traditional ways of thinking, and they were saying that we may hear something come out about maybe her and Tom having an agreement to where they will only do appearances at certain places together. certain amount of times a year, but really, like, it was really more of a business relationship. Like, we may hear stuff come out. I don't know how true that is because I'm not down there with them, but I would not be surprised if throughout their marriage, it was more business than anything. And we could most likely hear something about Tom only wanted her to appear with him 3 times out the year at certain events. And that's possibly the reason why he did not go to New York, because that wasn't in their agreement. He was never going to go to New York.
No. And let's be clear, Tom is the reason why your ass was even in Chicago. Because really? Like I said, Erika has a lot of earning potential once she gets up under this cloud and she can really talk. Right now, she needs to do whatever her lawyers are telling her to do, and she needs to try to stay under the radar as much as possible.
Thank you,
ago, a couple of weeks ago, she got pictured getting on a private jet with this Cartier ring on. Girl, read the room.
Lucy Apple Goosey. We went through that mess all season long about a damn dog. But Erika, let's handle her with kid gloves. Rinna, you sat up here and you literally took Denise Richards, chopped her up and fed every piece of her to the wolves. But you want to handle Erika with kid gloves and you want to sit, but y'all want to claim y'all are such good friends, yet y'all didn't know this was around the bend. Y'all had no clue. Y'all thought the relationship and marriage was just perfectly fine. Y'all are so fake. Y'all are so fake. If y'all were close like that, Erika would have felt comfortable sharing any detail about her marriage that was real. But she didn't because she know how y'all are.
Yeah.
Y'all not close like that. Y'all not real like that. Y'all are co-workers. And we have to remember, these are a bunch of actors.
Yeah. And and listen, that is the other thing about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that y'all got to remember. A lot of these are actors. I mean, Kyle was an actress, Lisa Rinna, Erika Jayne, like all of these women, hell, even Kathy, I mean, when she was a kid, but all of these women, you got to remember they're in the industry. So they listen. But I'm telling y'all, give it about 2 or 3 years, depending on how long this thing stretches out. Once Erika is up from under the bulk of it, and because here's what I think, and I'm nobody's lawyer, y'all, so let me be clear. But I think that Erika's lawyers are gonna reach a settlement with the bankruptcy lawyers. The lawyer that is suing and saying that Erika knew that money was being funneled into her business for the purposes of hiding it. He's not going to be able to prove it. He'll take whatever they give him from the bankruptcy court to go towards his victims. I don't think they're going to move forward with any criminal charges against Erika. I don't. Because that would be a really, really hard burden to prove. I don't think they're going to move forward with any criminal charges. And I think she'll make some sort of an agreement for a decent amount of money, in the millions. And then her ass is going to be out here working. Unless something really, 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 really damaging comes out, I don't think they're going to fire Erika. So she'll still be on the Real House, especially if she agrees to talk as much as she can talk for next season. So that she's going to still be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Once this cloud is over her, everybody's going to want to book Erika Jayne to sing, especially. Can you imagine how much she could charge for somebody to pay for her to sing It's Expensive to Be Me? It might be in bad taste, but can you imagine how much she could charge to sing It's Expensive to Be Me?
She would need to charge premium.
And if anything else, remember before she was touring overseas. Listen, she can go over to Dubai and make $1 million in one night. Let's not act like people like Hazel Lee over there making money, okay? If Hazel Lee can go to Dubai and make money, Erika Jayne can go to Dubai and make money. I'm just saying. I would believe Erika knew about Tom over Teresa knowing about Joe. Child, I would believe. Now let me say this: I believe Erika knew. I definitely believe Erika knew more than Teresa knew. Child, Teresa. I really believe Teresa when she says, "I just signed the papers he put in front of me." I absolutely believe her. I 100%. I ain't watched but one season of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, and I believe that whatever Joe told Teresa to do, she did. And she got stuck with the bill. And remember, Teresa got stuck paying Joe's restitution, just like Erika gonna get stuck with Tom. The difference is the restitution is different. It's different levels. Because they're talking about $25 million Erika owe. But I think that Erika's gonna settle. I think she's
gonna settle. I don't see criminal charges for either of them. I don't see jail time.
She's definitely cooperating at this time. And I think that I don't think we'll ever know what she settled for. I think it'll be an undisclosed amount, but I definitely believe she's going to settle. She's definitely going to settle. It's not in her best interest to let this drag out because, see, the problem is this. Once you let it actually go to court, then everything becomes public record. And then people can really, really dig into your business.
Yeah.
So I think if the lawyers are willing to settle, and generally in cases like this, the lawyers know they're not going to get $25 million, especially not the way this has gone. They're not going to get $25 million from Erika. They're not. Even if it goes to trial, they might not get $25 million from Erika.
But here's another thing. I do believe because they did hire Ronald Richardson. He's been salivating and getting on this case.
Oh, Lord, he has been.
And he finally was let in to search for that money. I do believe he's going to find money. And I believe he's going to find money in accounts, maybe not necessarily overseas accounts, but he may find investment accounts because I'm trying, even the wealthiest of wealthy people, I cannot see assing out $80 million like it was $10. I think Tom had put that money in buried investment accounts. I think that's what he did with it.
Oh, there's money there. The money is there. Erika knows where the money is, and Tom's brother knows where the money. Like I said, I 100% believe that there was a conversation with Erika and with those attorneys, and listen. Now that I believe, and I believe that the money is there, and I believe that Erika knows where the money is. But it's like you can't touch it. You can't touch it. You can't visit it. You can't look at it. But in about another, like I said, once this is all gone, once the cloud is over from over her head, and all of her legal situations have been resolved, and all of that has been resolved, then I think, and again, I believe Erika is smart enough to not be stupid about it. But I believe that Erika maybe on paper will have a certain lifestyle, but will be living a different one. So like it's like the drug dealer that know how to hide their money. It's like on paper, I own a custodial company, but I live in a 5-bedroom mansion. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I drive a Rolls Royce and I fly a private jet. What Erika's gonna probably do is go find her another rich husband, get a prenup, but make it look like she living off of his money and she really living off of hers. But that's just me, honey. That's just me. Yeah, they're gonna definitely find some money. Now that again, Emily did. Thank you, O Street, because Emily did say that. Emily said that the biggest thing that Erika needs to worry about now is the IRS getting involved and looking. She said because now that'll be a quick way for her to get some criminal charges, is if the IRS can prove that they did some fugazi stuff with the taxes. She said now that's a whole nother ball of wax. If the IRS gets involved and they're able to prove that Erika that Erika didn't do her taxes the way she was supposed to do her taxes and all that, that's another conversation.
Ooh, Jesus. Ooh, I ain't know we could get a Jen Shaw type case. Now that's the mess I want to hear more on. Outside of her just trying to get that mess thrown out, talking about they don't have proof. Ma'am, yes, they do. We heard you on the phone telling them old people that you could get rid of their student loan debt.
Child. Thank you, O Street, for reminding me, because she did say that. She said that she doesn't think that there'll be any criminal charges for the fraud that they're saying Erika was committed. She said, but the IRS though, You know, and see the IRS, it ain't nothing you can do about that. That IRS debt ain't no joke. Now we done seen everybody go. Listen, that's how they got Al Capone, child. Al Capone killed 5,000 people. They couldn't get him for murder, but they got his ass for not paying his taxes.
That's normally when you look at a lot of those racketeering charges. You watch Boardwalk Empire, right?
Girl, yes.
That's what they mainly got them for. Them people done killed everybody and their mama, but they went to jail over taxes. Racketeering. That's what they went to jail for.
Well, let me say this. All right, we're going to get up out of here, but let me just, I want to bring something up real quick. It's kind of in the same wheelhouse. And I'm sure you'll have an opinion. Well, first of all, I have an update from yesterday, and y'all kind of gave me this update yesterday on Richard Sherman's situation. So his wife said that she was the one that actually called the police because he was actually threatening to kill himself. And they have the call from when she called 911. The 911 operator was a little rude to her. But she called the police because she said he was threatening to kill himself. She said that he had drank 2 bottles of alcohol. He was extremely intoxicated. And right. That's what I said. Hell, surprised he didn't have alcohol poisoning. She said he's being aggressive. He has sent text messages, and then they could hear her in the background talking to him, telling him, "I have your car keys." And then it kind of went from there. But we know he was able to get car keys because he was involved in a damn hit and run. So, but it sounds like it might have been, and again, I'm sure it started with an argument. Something probably was going down. But it sounds like it was just a really, really bad night for Richard Sherman. And I hope that the hit and run situation is going to probably be the most of his criminal charges. The police situation, if he was drunk, a lawyer get him off on that. Him fighting the police. They're going to be like, it's clearly that he was drunk. He was intoxicated. Like, he'll go to a program. Okay, he was drunk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a first offense. And I've never heard of Richard Sherman in any type of trouble before. But if now you're adding in the element of threatening of suicide, that's a whole, like, his lawyers will be able to get all of this thrown out. If they're saying, well, he was in distress, he was threatening suicide, he wanted to kill himself.
2 bottles of alcohol, that sounds suicidal.
That's yeah. So something is going on. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping that maybe, again, listen, this is the nosy in me. I'm hoping that once this is all over with, maybe he'll sit down with ESPN, honey, and tell his story and I don't know if it's his professional or personal. Like I said, he's a free agent this year. This is somebody who's a Super Bowl champion who is now being reduced to basically, again, free agent is a fancy word for unemployed. So now he's been reduced to basically begging for a job. So it could be a little bit of that. It could be a little humbleness. Richard Sherman was kind of, he got a little full of himself. I mean, he was a nice guy, but he definitely had an arrogance about him for a while. He was at the top of his game, and he made a couple of comments about referees, and he got into a little bit of trouble in the league, but not like this kind of stuff. But his mouth, saying things and being very critical of things, and sometimes he was right with the stuff he said. So I don't know if it's a personal thing or maybe it's a professional. A professional or personal. Maybe him and his wife are having problems. Hey, Watermelon Sugar, thank you so much, boo. I'm sorry. I meant to thank you. Thank you for dropping my Avon link. Y'all get on over there to Avon, honey, and y'all get y'all some stuff. I ordered me some stuff yesterday, so I'll be doing an unboxing when it get here. Showing y'all some things. But y'all get on over there to Avon. We got all the fall stuff coming through. Y'all get on over there and check it out. It's some stuff out there. Like I said, y'all get you some good stuff, honey. Get you some good stuff. And so it's like, I hope he's okay. Because again, that's serious. 2 bottles of alcohol.
2. 1, 2.
In one day? That's
3, 2, 1.
That's serious. That's a lot. That's serious.
Dope.
So that's the update on that. But here's the thing, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, y'all. because I could really do a whole live on this, but I wanted to just bring this up for y'all. Oh, Lord. Here's the headline. Recent housing report reveals that full-time minimum wage employees are unable to afford rent anywhere.
I know that.
In the USA. Now,
I know that.
when we say anywhere, we talking about rural, we talking about city, we talking about country, we talking
I'm in
about
a rural area.
Right. So when we talk about we want to raise the minimum wage in this country, when you have places like when you have remember the Republicans made Biden take that out of the last stimulus package, because that was in the last stimulus package that minimum wage would go up to $15 federally. There are some states that have raised the minimum wage on their own to make it a more living wage, but the federal minimum wage right now is still, what is it, y'all? What's the minimum wage? $9? I don't know it off the top of my head. Thank God I don't know it off the top of my head. But I know he was trying to raise it to $15 an hour. And even that is not,
it's still not enough.
Right. It's still not enough. And I remember President Obama saying that there's no reason why someone works a 40-hour week and can't afford to live.
I know. I still will live with my parents because there's no job around me that pays enough. I did my budget for living on my own. This is before taxes is taken out. In order for me, myself, to live on my own, I would need to have a salary of $60,000. And even after taxes is taken out, I still barely have enough to live on my own. Else. Right. I don't have a lot to put back in savings because I have rent, which is approximately $1,400 for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Right.
I have insurance, health insurance, and dental insurance. I possibly may have a car note. Car notes are expensive. They're even for the used ones. You got food. You have your car maintenance. What else? Student loans. You got to pay those back.
Oh, Street, I didn't know you sent me a message about this.
So for me, does minimum wage need to be raised? Yes, but I would also like to see there not be such a high cost of living. There is no reason why a 1-bedroom apartment, and a lot of these apartments really aren't worth the $1,400 a month. Let's be clear.
So let me read y'all this paragraph, because this paragraph sort of sums it up. If you're wondering how the NLHC, and that's the National Low Income Housing Coalition, came up with the numbers, the report defines affordability as the hourly wage a full-time worker must earn to spend no more than 30% of their income on rent, which means that in 2021, full-time minimum wage employees need to earn at least $24.90 an hour for a two-bedroom apartment, and earn at least $20.40 an hour for a 1-bedroom apartment. The current minimum wage average is $18.78 per hour, over $6 less of what's required to be able to afford. Now, that's the average, because like I said, some states have raised the minimum wage on their own, but that's not the federal minimum wage. The federal minimum wage this is the least amount of money I can legally pay you. Now, I know like DC, they're slowly raising their minimum wage over the next couple of years. I think they raised it to $18, and they did like a gradual thing. So like every year it goes up a little bit more until it gets to that $18. So it wouldn't be such like a shock to employers. But let's be clear, y'all. Large corporations like Walmart's and the Amazons of the world, it ain't no thing. Not when it's the richest man in the world is the owner of Amazon. He can afford to pay his workers $25 an hour. Okay. I understand that for a small business, it may be a problem. But again, it is a gradual thing. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly the banks who are losing money, are buying up the single family homes and renting them. Oh, I'm blessed to be staying at home mom to be a at-home mom. My hubby and ex-military. He's a welder. Hold on, y'all. He's a welder, but he still builds custom grills for side hustle. And our house payment is $500. Shit, $500 for a house payment. I am here for it, and I know I'm not gonna say it here, but you told me the area where you live, so that's definitely a blessing. Not to mention, a lot of these places don't even have central air heating. Summertime electric bill be high as hell. Then in the winter, you paying extra for gas and heating, right? Because let's be clear, that doesn't mean you living in a nice place. That doesn't mean you live in a good neighborhood. That just means you can afford.
You just live it,
y'all.
Like, my friend works 72 hours a week and he still has a roommate. That's ridiculous. That is freaking ridiculous.
Listen.
And that is the game a lot of people play. You're not even living, you're slaving. And again, all of this, people are act crazy when someone doesn't want to take an $18 an hour job. Yes, they need it, but you still have to get another job to supplement whatever else, because again, after taxes, that is nothing. And if you live in a rural area like I do, you have to factor in your gas. How many times a week are you going to fill up? And gas is damn near $4 a gallon. Some places it's $5.
Yeah. And I mean,
the cost of living is extraordinarily high. It's ridiculously high.
Right. And got the nerve to wonder why some people would rather collect unemployment. Okay. It would be a part with others. I'm very blessed. I've never had a roommate. I live on my own since 19, but couldn't do it. Well, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I started from the beginning. I'm blessed that my family owns
watermelon sugar." Listen. Let me tell you something.
Y'all know the last couple of years for me, I had to get a whole new AC unit. Now my computer's broken. Like, all it takes is one thing to hit, and you'll be like, damn. Like, thank God I still have my backup computer. Thank God I can still turn it on and it works. And you hold on, girl. You hold on. I'm complaining about you being slow, but baby, you turned on, okay? But the reality is, it only takes one thing. It can throw your whole budget off. Like, I'm blessed, but y'all know I rent out my basement. I don't rent out my basement because I'm lonely. I rent out my basement to help me, put a little extra money in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Pat are friends, but she don't live with me for free. You know what I'm saying?
People would think it's an anomaly and think that people in their 30s or some in their 40s are being lazy and aren't working hard. But the reality of the situation is, studies have proved this. My generation actually works harder than the older generation. My generation has at least 2-3 jobs just to keep our head above water. That's my generation, and we're still living at home. But people will look at us and say, you're lazy, you're not doing anything, you're not trying hard enough, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But that's not the case. The cost of living is high, and we can't afford to leave home. And when we do leave home, we get a roommate. And then we have to factor in what happens, like Watermelon Sugar said. What if that person gets fired? What if that person falls ill? Guess what? The responsibility of the rent that you used to split is not all on you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and think about this last year with COVID. Like, people weren't working. And I mean, I know, like, some people, my sister fought with unemployment for, COVID shut everything down in March. I think my sister lost her job in May, maybe April, because she didn't lose it at the beginning. Her job really tried to keep her on. So she lost it like, April, May. Because it wasn't in March, like April, May. My sister didn't get her unemployment. She didn't start collecting unemployment until like September, October, because she had to fight with them because it was basically a glitch in the system because there was nobody working in the system. There was nobody working. She couldn't get anybody on the phone. She couldn't talk to the right people to get it fixed because, the government was shut down too. So she wasn't getting the right people on the phone. Everything is automated. The automated system was screwed up. Had it not been for the fact that my brother-in-law was still working, But now they went from 2 incomes to 1 income until my sister, now once she got it straight, thank God, and she got her back, her back money and stuff. But what if my sister had been living by herself with my nephew? Thank God that, they saved a big bill because daycare was closed and she wasn't working. So, she became daycare. But thank God that my brother-in-law was working. And so you think about stuff like that. Like, what if they were roommates and not in a relationship? She can't come up with her half of the rent and he has no obligation to pick it up. It's like she'd have been stuck. You know what I'm saying? You feel like no matter what, you can't get ahead. And with this headline, it's like you're making us slaves to the system. 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
pretty much it's slaving away. You're just paying for a place to lay your head and take a shower. You're paying damn near $2,000 a month to do nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's the appropriate live to have this conversation because we coming up off of talking about Erika Jayne and her woes. You know what I'm saying? But the reality of the situation is, and again, I get it, but the reality of the situation is, we just want to, when you start hearing these Republicans complain, because like I said, $15 is still not enough, but it's better for a lot. It would have helped a lot of people. And, Biden wasn't able to keep it in the bill. I mean, he wasn't able to keep it in the bill. Now, on a good note, did y'all get those of you that had churn on your taxes, did y'all get y'all tax credit in y'all bank account today? They said they was going to start depositing them today. I think for the next 3 months, you're getting a $300. Is it $300 per child or just a $300 if you had a child on your taxes? A $300 tax credit. So I hope that helps some of y'all out with a little bit of summer stuff, honey. Child.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about this all the time.
Okay.
I talk about this all the time with another one of my classmates. He lives with his grandmother and he wants to move out, but even with his job, he still can't afford to do it. Still can't.
What was I getting ready to say? Somebody just said something. Oh, Watermelon Sugar, you better check that bank account, girl. With your churn, you better check that bank account, girl.
Yeah, a lot of people like the whole thinking of your child is 30 years old, why they still at home? Throw that out the window. Forget that. That is long. That the years of when people that at our parents and grandparents' age leaving home at 14 and managing to get a house at 21, those days are gone. They're gone. None of that happening anymore.
Listen, child, it's a mess. I'm gonna leave us on a good note, though. I'm not gonna leave us there. Let's leave us on a good note. So, allegedly, and I guess it ain't allegedly because it's on tape. Safari is accusing Erika Jayne of destroying $50,000 worth of his personal belongings.
Good for him.
He said she's in contempt of court because they had some sort of domestic stay away order to protect each other's personal belongings. He said that she cut the laces out of his custom sneakers.
Good for him.
She poured paint over his motorcycles and in the tailpipe of his motorcycles.
Good for
and
him.
Something else he said she did. She poured bleach on his clothes. Let me tell you something. I'm here for it.
You knew what you married, sir.
Not only did you know what you married, but listen, I don't give Erika Jayne a lot, but in this one, I'm giving this one to Erika Jayne. Safari, you being a jerk.
Yeah.
You being a jerk. And even the appearance of you being a jerk. Like, and she said, I mean, they said that she did it. He said that she did it when she was 8 months pregnant after she filed for divorce. And listen, I believe him. And then he said that she was caught on camera, on their security camera. So my thing is, she know y'all got security cameras, so she wanted you to know she did it. It's not like she don't know y'all got security cameras. I agree, O Street. They're both
O Street.
immature. I agree. But I was here for it when she said that she poured paint down the exhaust pipe. Listen, I couldn't do nothing but laugh about that.
It's like sugar in the gas tank.
Listen, I couldn't do nothing but laugh. I thought that was hilarious. You don't think that's okay at all? I ain't saying it's okay. I'm just saying I understand it. I'm here for it. I ain't saying it's listen. Is it immature? Sure. Is she?
But
Is
he
she
married an immature woman.
Right. Is she too old for that bullshit? Sure. But am I here for it? Yep.
Erika Jayne has the emotional intelligence of a 7-year-old.
I know they are stunt queens. I'm tired of them every day, child. Right. Now, let's be clear. That's not something I would do because that's not even how I handle my business. That's not how I get down. But and I told you I was talking about that she was on a burner leaving Sin Santana nasty comments. That lets you know her mentality. You really got time. You really have time.
And those messages were from the recent messages were from 6 months ago. So she was pregnant, still doing it. Married and pregnant. Going through all of that and yet still had time to sit up on the internet and play. Again, the emotional intelligence of a 7-year-old. And then Safari want to get up here and cry about her mouth, talking about she's disrespectful. Sir, when has she not been disrespectful? Point to that.
I was getting ready to say, now let's not act like this is new information.
That's what I want to see.
Child. Anyway, y'all, let me get off of here. It's been an hour and a half, honey. It's been over an hour and a half. She will end up in the headlines too, getting played. Lord, did y'all see Kempire on that Love B Sky story last night? No. I'm gonna have to go look it up. I like Kempire and B Sky. Okay, I'm gonna have to go see what you're talking about, O Street. I didn't see it, but I'm gonna go look it up because, like I said, I like both of them. I like Kempire and I like B Sky, and I follow both of them, so I don't know how I missed it. But anyway, y'all go over there and check out your Avon. We're gonna get back to our item of the week, honey. We're gonna get back to that item of the week. But y'all go over there and get y'all Avon. Like I said, I'm picking up some things and share some things with y'all. And maybe I'll do me a giveaway next week. Maybe I'll do me a good Avon giveaway next week. I'm come up with something good. Do a members only, and she won't sign her contract. Portia don't want to stay on the fire. Yeah, I did see. Okay, now I saw a headline about that. I haven't looked at the video, but I did see where they're saying that Portia doesn't want to come back to Atlanta. Oh well.
I'm here to tell Portia, you don't have that draw. I know a lot of people would like to think she does, but she doesn't, and that was proven with that last baby special.
Well, not only that, but I'm again. She don't want to. If she don't want to come back on the show, because she don't want to deal with the wrath that she knows she's gonna get from Marlo and Kenya. Then I don't know what to tell you, boo. You listen. You made that bed. You better go lie down in that shit. I saw today that the rumor is that Sheree is coming back, and that the police were swarming her house today. So I don't know if they was looking for her new prison bae or what, but
well, I was on formerly Beautiful Soul, Tabitha Speaks, and she said she was possibly caught up in some PPP loan mess. And why can't I believe it?
Oh, boy.
I mean, she stole that house from them contractors. She stole their labor and their materials. The landscaper, the interior designer, she stole their services. She didn't pay them. So I can't believe this.
Oh, Lord. These people with these PPP loans, y'all don't know no better. Y'all don't know no better. Y'all don't know.
Because someone in the comments had made a great point. We ain't see Sheree for a good chunk since she's been off this show. And then all of a sudden, she taking trips to Ghana and she going this place and that place.
Oh, damn. Well, they said that Simon his empire is all smoke and mirrors. Everything is
believe that too.
That everything is rented. He don't own none of it.
I can believe that too.
I absolutely believe it.
A lot of people fake and flaws.
I mean, they said that they rented that house just for them to film Real Housewives of Atlanta. Well, they bought the house because now they said, listen, I don't know. We'll see. Let me get off of here, y'all. I got to give me some dinner. Don't you hate it? Like I already had something for dinner, but now I don't want it. So now I'm sitting here thinking what I want for dinner. I had some baked chicken that I picked up earlier today, and I was like, oh, that'll be for dinner. But I had it for lunch, and I was waiting the leftovers for dinner, and I don't want it.
My mother picked up a baked chicken, but I'm gonna go ahead and bake some fish.
I'll probably eat that tomorrow, child. All right. Well, I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for coming up. Thank y'all for being here. I will catch up with
guys.
you on the other side. You had some shrimp taco. Oh, that sounds good. Shrimp taco.
Have a wonderful evening.
And
a beautiful weekend.
Tisa Tales. Okay, I'm going to have to check out Tisa Tales. All right, y'all.
Yeah, Tisa.